Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. This is the second part of a video with the Nichols brothers at Mr. Maple from MrMaple.com. I shot a video with Tim's brother Matt, so you can go back and take a look at that video. I'll link it up here in the corner if you're watching on YouTube. And I'm excited to spend some time with Tim. He's going to tell us a little bit about the nursery business during COVID. What this has been like.
Well, honestly, whenever COVID first struck, the March hit, and we started to see a dip in sales. People were starting to get a little worried, and we said, all right, buckle down the hatches. We don't know if we're going to have to try to sneak down to the nursery to water, driving from a distance, if we'll have to have a paper that says, hey, I've got to water my crops as a farmer. And lo and behold, then everything started booming. And we've been blessed. It's just been record sales that just keep going up and keep going up. And as a mail order nursery, we were really shocked that we had such strong business during COVID, and we were really, really, really blessed. It just got to where our business started growing. We started hiring more employees. We started realizing that employees were, we found more employees through kids that were out of school because of COVID. And our business just kept booming and kept growing. And it's like one of those big snowballs you see when there's an avalanche, where it just starts at the very top and it just starts rolling. Right. And, we really just don't know where the end is right now.
Well, right. What has that done for you trying to keep up with potting and just your day-to-day business?
Yeah, the hardest thing is keeping up with inventory and keeping things that are really interesting, and keeping that 10 at 10, where we put 10 new trees on the website every single Tuesday at 10 a.m., keeping that rolling with 10 new exciting plants, because we're selling things so quickly.
Right.
And so when we list some of those on the website, there's plenty of them that might last 10 minutes. Okay. And then we get emails where people say, where are these? We're like, well, we had 150 of them, but they just sold out in 10 minutes. And then they get a little upset with us, but it's just the way the business is right now.
Well, now you can see how excited he is about business. Now let's talk about the way farming works, though. So this April, trees leaf out everywhere, and then what happens to you?
Well, late April, we got one frost, and we said, all right, let's spray everything down with anti-decusant. Let's protect everything. Let's cover all the plants in the nursery. And that first frost wasn't too bad. Then we came a much colder freeze. And this freeze was 27 degrees. And
this is how late in April was it? April 28th or something, I think Matt said.
It was Mother's Day.
Wow.
Time.
Yeah, wow.
And we covered all the plants in the nursery, took care of all the plants in the nursery, but all the plants in our garden just got decimated.
Right.
And they got hit with another frost a few days later.
So they had leafed out twice. And that's always a
right. And so then we're going back and watering them with Miracle Grow and trying to push them out, but it never quite looks quite as good as it does during that spring flush and the way they are naturally whenever they get that damage. They'll respond. We definitely lost a few plants out in the landscape, as every gardener does. But they will respond and come back from that. They just might not look at their best this year.
Right, but that's farming for you, though. I mean, you have this high here and this low here, all happening at the exact same time.
And those are our plants that are like our babies. We've been taking care of. That's our 1,200 varieties planted at our parents, my brothers, my uncles, all over. And it really hurts for those to get so damaged. But the good thing is we've always got more. I can always produce more of them.
Right.
And the ones that we've got will respond and look good. It just may take another year for them to pop out of it.
Nice. So we're going to walk around just like we did with Matt and talk about some of Tim's favorite plants. All right. So Moonrise is one of your favorites. Tell me about this one.
Yeah, Moonrise is a full moon Japanese maple. So it has that large full moon leaf like autumn moon and golden full moon. The thing I love about this one is way more heat tolerant. Autumn moon and RM, you have to really find that special spot in your yard that it's going to do well, maybe put in a container, move it around.
Right.
Moonrise has those same colors with those mauve pink reds in the early spring over top of the green, and the sort of malting with the multicolored effect that just keeps pushing new growth over and over the summer with more color. Some lime green during late summer, and then goes to bright yellows to oranges in the fall. And it was a it was a maple of the year from the North American Maple Society.
Right.
And it's one of our favorites because it's extremely colorful, it's really durable, it's a faster grower than some of the other full moon types. And it's one that really stands out and gives you a lot of good color.
Nice. Okay, so Summer Gold.
Yeah, Summer Gold is another one of my favorite Japanese maples. It's a selection from Italy, from Ghirardelli Nursery. Kind of like pronounced the same way as like Ghirardelli chocolate, but completely different people. They've introduced some amazing yellows. Summer Gold is one of their best. This one here is a 6 to 8 foot in 10 years. Really goes to some nice red colors in the fall, but really where it gets its name is that Summer Gold color. That yellow contrasts so well with so many other plants. The best thing about this one too is it's a yellow that can handle more sun. So it can definitely handle a lot more sun than a lot of other yellow types. To really contrast with other Japanese maples or other things in the landscape, you can plant this next to your Tamukiyamas and Crimson Queens, or your Emperor Ones you see contrasting back there in the background.
That looks great, yeah.
Yeah, and the dynamic contrast of yellow, it's such an underutilized color. It's one of my favorite colors to use in the landscape. I know it's one of yours as well.
Yeah. I have a yard full of chartreuse, but it does make everything else pop.
Yeah.
But you need green. You need green and reds to settle. For these to stand out.
Yeah, and this is one of the plants that I love. Summer Gold is a great mid-sized Japanese maple that really gives some good yellow color and can handle a lot more sun than a lot of other yellow Japanese maples.
Nice. So you started primarily with Japanese maples, but you guys have a lot of other specialty plants. There's some evergreen azaleas and deciduous azaleas, native azaleas in here.
Yeah, we have the plant bug, like Matt talked about with the previous video. We're plant hoarders. And so when we get into a genre, we go crazy with it. We've gotten into azaleas, so I think we've got over 80 or so azaleas here in our nursery, maybe 90.
Gotcha.
I'm sure it's going to be in the several hundreds in a few years. But we really love them. There's some really neat ones. In my left hand here, we've got an Austrianum selection of a native azalea. It's called Chocolate Drop. And in the springtime, this one actually leaves out with maroon foliage, the color of a Japanese maple.
Wow.
And it's got gorgeous pink blooms. Here in the heat of the greenhouse in the shade, it has greened out a little bit more olive green. But once this plant gets established in the landscape, it holds its color on the leaves even through the summer.
Right, and almost everybody watching can grow this plant.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where I show lots and lots of plants on a channel, but most of you watching can try that deciduous azalea.
Yeah, and this one has pink blooms to it. And so this deciduous native selection by Ernest Kuhn has, it's spectacular. It gives you a good color on the leaves, good foliage color, as well as blooming habit, and it's pollinated for bees, and butterflies love it. I mean, it's a great plant to have out in the landscape. Yeah. And contrasting on the other side, another foliage, this is an evergreen azalea. It's called Gerard's Variegated. This one has green and white variegation foliage. And, we love the blooms. The blooms are a fuchsia pink, gorgeous on the blooms, but to have that foliage interest as well.
Right, and blooms for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So the other 11 and a half months, it's also still a beautiful plant.
Exactly.
Right. So we're going to finish up in a house full of conifers. Well, there's some leafy evergreen things in here, but mostly conifers. So looks like you guys have delved pretty deep in the world of grafted conifers.
Yeah, we, like any plant genre we get into, we got addicted with a lot of different interesting plants. I really like this one. This is one called Green Penguin. I fell in love with this when I actually saw it out in the landscape, a more mature specimen, and it looked like a little green penguin out in the landscape. And it just gets about 3 feet tall with a fatter base at the base, and as it gets towards the tip, you know, it gets more narrow, just like a little penguin sitting there.
Right.
And it gets about 3 feet tall in 15 years. So it's a real slow grower for the ornamental landscape. It's like a zone 3 through 8 plant.
Right.
And so it can go in a lot colder zones and give you a nice evergreen in a small space.
Nice, nice.
And we talked about colors earlier with the yellow Japanese maple.
Right.
This is an amazing colored cedrus. It's Cedrus atlantica glaucopendula.
Yep.
It's extremely cascading, has that umbrella effect. You can stake it up to have a lot of fun shapes. I've seen people put these over trellises.
Right.
A fun plant to add that blue color in the landscape, because blue is another color that's not used enough out in the landscape.
Right, and you can almost use this as almost a ground cover, or it can be staked, or it can be almost anything you want to do.
I like them simply because Japanese maples, you don't find many other plants in that blue color. You don't find a blue Japanese maples regardless of what eBay may say.
Right, right.
Those shots are photoshopped. You can get some conifers with some really nice blue colors like glaucopendula. And this is a Cedrus atlantica that gives you some great blue color to contrast with your Japanese maples, your green foliaged azaleas, and your yellows that really add that extra dynamic color in the landscape.
Right. Nice. Thank you guys for following along with these videos, this series. I'm having a lot of fun with this series. I hope you guys are as well. I want to come and just get someone started and listen to experts in their field, talk about the things that they're into, and my visit to Mr. Maple's been awesome. So thank you guys for following along. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thanks, Tim.
Hey, thanks for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
And an honor that you came to and shot our little nursery.
Awesome, and Matt standing behind the camera over there, and I've just had a great time. Thanks for watching.